Oh, here we go. I'm trying to click it, but it's not working. Hello, everyone. My name is Dawn Winkleman. I am a speech-language pathologist and pediatric feeding specialist for ezpz, and I have lost my voice the last 2 weeks, so bear with me with my monotone voice. But today we are going to talk about eating and drinking and feeding and swallowing developmental milestones for your baby and your toddler, and some few helpful tips for picky eaters too. I'll answer some questions during this live, so feel free to ask your questions here on the main stage. And then I'm going to open up to a Q&A at the end of my talk as well. And stay tuned because we're going to have a giveaway here at the end of this session too. We have a big giveaway with Prego Expo on their big giveaway, but we have one at this talk too. So stay to the end. And if for some reason I don't get your questions answered, I'll come back in later and answer some more questions as well. We also have Tamara, our COO, in the comment section to be able to answer some of your questions too. All right, let's get started. Most parents are unaware of any feeding and swallowing milestones. They know more like gross motor milestones like crawling and walking. So I'm so excited to talk to you about these important and critical milestones for your baby. ezpz products are designed specifically to help with milestones going through those ages and stages as your baby develops. So let's start with the first swallowing milestone. So when I tell parents a swallowing milestone, they immediately think it's a sippy cup, but it's not a sippy cup. It's an open cup. Sippy cups actually delay feeding and speech development, and they sabotage solids. So if you're wanting to start solids, make sure that you skip that sippy cup and start with an open cup, because the developmental milestone is that baby is supposed to drink from an open cup held by an adult by 6 months of age. I know that's kind of mind-blowing to think, but it's really important for your baby to be able to establish those early feeding and swallowing skills. So let me get my fake baby here to kind of show you how that looks like. So baby is sitting in a high chair with really good foot support, and we're going to offer that cup with breast milk or formula. We're going to hold the cup here towards baby so that baby leans forward and we're able to give those sips. The tiny cup is able to flex, so it's really easy for your baby to be able to put their lips around the cup. It's made out of 100% food grade silicone, so it's going to be really nice and easy for those developing teeth and sore gums. So baby can take a sip of breast milk and formula. We usually do breast milk and formula from 6 to 12 months of age. You can start to introduce water around 10 months of age, but really from a nutritional standpoint, baby should only be getting breast milk or formula from the cup. You can also offer purees from the cup as well, so you can do thin and thick purees from the cup and have baby be able to try some of those tastes. The tiny cup holds 2 ounces, but when you first start out, if you're only going to put 1/2 of an ounce of breast milk or formula, we don't want that to spill. So you're starting off with 1/2 of an ounce at first. And then as your child gets better and better, then you can increase the ounces. Now you're going to practice with the tiny cup about 5 minutes a day. It's really important to practice these open cup milestones a few minutes every day, because the next drinking and swallowing milestone happens at 12 months of age. And a 12-month-old is supposed to drink from an open cup with minimal spillage, and they're supposed to do it independently. So at 6 months, you're holding the cup for baby. By 12 months, they should be holding that cup all by themselves. You can check out our Instagram where we have a little icon for the tiny cup, and you can see thousands of babies 6 months to 12 months of age drinking successfully from the tiny cup. And again, 5 minutes a day. So we want to be able to continuously offer that. The tiny cup comes in all of these colors. Our whole line is these Nordic colors: sage, pewter, and blush, as well as blue, coral, lime, and gray. Ooh. So we want to be able to find a color palette that's perfect for your little one. Now, the tiny cup helps babies make these early milestones of being able to drink from a cup as compared to using a sippy cup. When we're using a sippy cup, what happens is babies end up tilting their head back in order to get the liquids. And two things are difficult with that. The first is that when we lean back, we open up our airway. When we open up our airway, that liquid can go down into the lungs, causing pneumonia. And also when we tilt our head back, that fluid goes right into the ear canal. So you will end up having ear infections or even hearing loss. So we want to make sure that we're not having baby tilt back when they're drinking. This is really critical. So the cup is angled on the inside. So it's going to easily have the liquids flow out, so your child never has to put their head back, putting them in that unsafe position to increase the likelihood of choking or, like I said, ear infections. So that is a tiny cup and our first feeding and swallowing milestone. Next milestone is that your baby is actually going to be going through several milestones with spoon feeding. So for babies, there are 5 spoon feeding milestones. Now, what usually happens is that you'll see well-meaning therapists recommending using a long-handled spoon to feed baby, but please know that anytime we put anything into baby's mouth, it increases the risk of choking. And babies are actually supposed to feed themselves. So at 6 months of age, baby is able to feed themselves if they have a baby-led spoon. This is ezpz tiny spoon, and I designed the spoon to make it very easy for babies to be able to feed themselves. We have a short, fat, round handle. We have sensory bumps here on the spoon bowl to help decrease gagging and allow your baby to feed themselves correctly. And this is perfect for babies to be able to start off with purees, whether it's thin purees, thick purees, lumpy purees, and even solid foods. Once you start doing solid foods, you can easily squish a blueberry or a pinto bean on here and let baby be able to feed themselves. What you can do is actually start to spoon feed and preload that spoon onto a bowl to make that a little bit easier for baby. But before I show you how to do that, let's talk about why we want to have a baby-led spoon. So babies need to work on their hand to mouth coordination. So we want to make sure that babies are able to hold on to the spoon and be able to start to put those foods into their mouth. So when you preload the spoon, you're preloading that spoon, you're handing it to baby, baby grabs onto it and puts it into their mouth. So don't expect your baby to scoop. I'm going to talk about that here in a little bit when you first start out. And our tiny spoons come in a 2-pack, and it's really important because as you're scooping up that bite and handing it to baby, you need to get that other bite ready because the baby's going to drop the spoon and grab on to the next one. So it's really great to be able to have those 2 spoons in rotation to help your baby have solid foods very easily. And we're trying to make the feeding movements to the mouth more successful. Now, when babies are able to spoon feed themselves and be able to put the spoon into their mouth, then it actually helps with their oral motor development. It helps with them understanding size and texture of foods, and it helps them be able to protect their airway. Now, let's talk about these 5 spoon feeding milestones. The first is your baby is supposed to play and bang the spoon. I know it's super annoying, but you're going to have your baby playing and banging it on the tray table. But that's really important for them to actually learn these skills. So you want them to be able to understand the concept of the spoon, be able to gum and play with it, and mouth it is the second spoon feeding milestone. Babies are supposed to be able to mouth the spoon and really work on that hand to mouth coordination. Now, if your baby starts to mouth the handle side of the spoon, that's okay. Your baby is just exploring it just like they would any other object, and it's completely normal. The third milestone is that they should be able to hold on to that spoon and keep bringing that spoon up to their mouth. So maybe they drop it down onto their high chair tray and they're able to bring it back up to the mouth. So let's learn about what we want to do about preloading the spoon. So this is our tiny bowl. And so this fits on the tiniest of high chair trays. It's perfect size for babies' portions, and it's also really easy to take on the go, which I'll show you here in a minute too. So what you're going to do is you're going to have that tiny bowl, you're going to scoop up some of the food, and you're going to hand that to baby so they can hold onto the handle, or you're going to scoop it and put it here on the side. So you're basically preloading the spoon. And all baby has to do is to take that spoon and bring it to their mouth. You can also preload the spoon and put it on the edge of the mat so babies can grab it. Every baby works differently, so those are the 3 different ways that you can do it. Hand, put on the ridge, or put on the edge. Then around 9 months of age, the next milestone is your baby is actually going to start to dip the spoon. So when you are moving forward through the food process, you can actually start to dip this themselves, and your baby might want to actually hold on to your hand and do that. This is a very important milestone because at 9 months, we want babies to actually start to dip on their own and bring it to their mouth. And then between 11 and 18 months of age, that final spoon feeding milestone is to be able to scoop and then feed themselves. So these skill sets, as you're starting out at 6 months using the spoon, by the time you have a 12-month-old, they're actually able to start to scoop and feed themselves independently, which is what we want them to be able to do. So the tiny spoon ends up helping babies make those feeding milestones. Next up is talking a little bit more about the tiny bowl. This will suction to your table or suction to the high chair tray, which makes it really easy. And it also helps to be able to work on their finger milestones. So I just talked about the spoon milestones, but there's also hand feeding milestones. So the baby is supposed to be able to take their whole hand and grab the food and be able to put that into their mouth. And later on, around 9, 10 months of age, they'll start to use that pincer grasp, which we'll talk more about here in a little bit. So it's really important to be able to utilize a bowl and not eat off of the high chair tray. A lot of the families that I work with in feeding therapy used a high chair tray, and what happens is that they want to be able to eat on a plate and a bowl just like we do. So they try to get out of the high chair early because they want to actually eat off of your plate. So if you have a little one that's wanting to eat off your plate, it's usually because you're eating off of a high chair tray. The other thing with a high chair tray, if you're eating off of that and not putting a bowl or plate on there, baby will end up doing this with the food, and the food will go flying, and they'll get into that lovely habit of throwing food. So we want to make sure that we're using a plate or a bowl onto the tray to be able to include your little one in mealtime, just like you and I eat. Now, if you're looking for a great on-the-go solution, if you buy the tiny bowl singly, so the tiny bowl comes into this packet, you can take out the insert, and then all of the products that I just described, the tiny bowl, the tiny cup, and the 2 tiny spoons fit into this wet bag, and so that you can take this to grandma's house, to daycare, and that fits really nicely into your diaper bag. We also have a gift set. So this is called the First Food Set, and it actually includes the bowl, the cup, and the spoons. And it doesn't have the wet bag in there, but it has a really nice, beautiful packaging with all the details that I just talked about here on the back. And these are our Sonoma collection. This is indigo and sienna, which is 2 beautiful colors that just launched, as well as you can get all of our regular colors in the First Food Set. You can add that to your registry. Next up, we're moving along to toddlers. So with toddlers, we are talking about swallowing milestone for toddlers that's really important, which is straw drinking. Now, you can introduce a straw at 9 months of age to your baby as well, but we want to make sure that the toddler is able to drink from a straw at 12 months of age. If you try straw drinking earlier with your baby, it can actually cause some choking concerns, because what happens when you're learning to drink from a straw, you're actually having to hold your breath. So pretend that you're drinking from a straw. See how you hold your breath? And babies 6, 7, 8 months of age usually don't have the coordination of their respiratory tract to be able to hold their breath that successfully. So if you're going to introduce a straw, we want to do that around 9 months of age. And this is the mini cup and straw training system. Now, this is a really important system. It's the only one on the market. And this is something that is so critical to safety. We want to be able to have a straw that is safe for babies and toddlers. And we want to be able to make sure that they're still continuing on those drinking and swallowing milestones. So let me show you a little bit about this. So not only does this just look so stylish and cute, it has a lot of safety features. So the first safety feature is that the cup is 4 ounces. There's a lot of cups out there on the market that are 8, 10, 12, 15, 16 ounces, but really toddlers are only supposed to have around 4 ounces of fluids at mealtime. So we want to be able to make sure that we're not filling up toddlers' tummies and causing picky eating with just filling up on milk and fluids. So this is a 4-ounce cup, and the tiny cup is a 2-ounce cup. So you're going to start with the tiny cup from 6 months up all the way up to 12 months. Then once your baby is successful with drinking from the tiny cup and doing that independently, you can move on to the mini cup. So the mini cup and straw system has some more features. The next feature is that it has a short straw. A lot of the other straw cups on the market have a really long straw, and they have a weighted straw. The issues with that is that mold can develop into the straw. This does not have a valve. And the other thing with that is that the straws are so long, so baby has to hold their breath for a longer period of time, and that's why straw drinking can be unsuccessful. The straw is very short, and it makes it super easy for babies to be able to learn how to drink. It also has sensory bumps there on the top, and why that's so important is because babies and toddlers need to learn to keep their lips at the very tip of the straw. When children put their whole mouth onto the straw and you see a lot of the straw going into their mouth, it's like they're suckling from a sippy cup. And when we drink from a sippy cup, the tongue movements are like this. And that's keeping that tongue thrust out. We don't want that to happen because one of the signs of readiness for starting solids is that tongue thrust coming out. We don't want anything to keep that tongue thrust active. So we want to skip the sippy cup and go straight from an open cup, then to a straw cup. So this is also, the straw is curved, which is another safety feature. Remember, we want to keep baby's head down towards the cup and not tilted back. So we don't want new straw drinkers to actually have a long straw because we need them to be able to make sure that they're successful with it. Again, protecting that airway. So we have the curvature of the straw, those sensory bumps, and the short length that really make the straw very different. Now, once your baby or toddler starts to learn how to drink from a straw and it's being really successful with that, and you see them each time just putting those lips right at the tip of the straw, then you're ready for the next stage. Welcome to the advanced stage. You flip that straw over, and now we have a short straw. Now we have a straight straw. So see the difference there, which has no sensory bumps and no curvature. So what happens is now it's a regular type straw. So we've used that training straw to make sure that your child is safe and effective with straw drinking, and then moving on to this regular straw. Now, of course, we have those straw drinking milestones, but we still have those cup drinking milestones. So just take the lid and straw off, and now you can work on those cup milestones. So remember, at 12 months of age, they should be drinking from the cup independently. And by 24 months of age, they should drink from the cup independently with no spillage. So these are really important feeding and swallowing milestones. So you can knock out 3 milestones using the mini cup and straw training system. All right. And we're giving away, at the end, we're giving away a straw cup training system to one lucky winner, and we're giving away a first food set to one lucky winner. So stay with me here. All right, now we're going to be talking a little bit about the differences between the straw drinking and being able to use their lips, which is what we really want to focus on, as well with the mini utensils. So the mini utensils are a spoon and fork combo with the same sensory bumps that you saw with the tiny spoon. So to give you an example of the size differences, this is the tiny spoon for babies. This is the mini spoon for toddlers. So showing you that size difference. The tiny spoon is 100% food grade silicone, And the mini spoon is nylon at the top and then silicone everywhere else. So if your baby starts off with this, they can easily transition to the mini spoon because they look so similar, right? And so it's really soft and nice for their hands. And then, of course, we want toddlers to have more food at meals time that they're actually able to scoop up successfully. So that's why we have the nylon head there to be able to make that just a little bit easier for them to be able to do scoop. And then we also have the fork. So again, showing the size difference here. Now, people always ask me why there's not a fork in our tiny line. And the reason why is because babies are not developmentally supposed to eat from a fork. Number one, it's a huge safety issue. You have a baby that's actually learning how to have that hand-to-mouth coordination, and they can easily poke themselves in with their eyes. And so developmentally, babies are not supposed to use a fork. However, toddlers are supposed to use a fork. So it's really important to introduce a fork. And because it has a nylon head, it's nice and sturdy. So it's going to be really easy for them to be able to learn how to pierce and be able to bring that fork to their mouth, but it's not too sharp that it's going to actually hurt them. So it's a really wonderful set of utensils. Again, this is called the mini utensils. And I love it in this blush color. It's so pretty. And then I have to talk about the mini mat. So we talked about the tiny bowl for babies. The mini mat actually can be for babies or for toddlers. So what's really exciting about this product and how it can help with mealtime independence is that it can help you as a parent remind you to serve 3 different foods. We want to serve a protein, a fruit or a vegetable, and a carbohydrate. And what makes it really easy for children to want to eat off of this is because of this cute smiley face. So it makes it fun for mealtime, making that really cute. You can fill this up with some yogurt and a blueberry, and it easily becomes an eyeball. And so it can be really fun for kids. So you can just set the mini utensils on the side, or if you're using the mini mat with your baby, you can easily put those utensils on the side as well. And we also have a gift idea for you with the mini mat and the mini utensils. So let me show you this that just launched called the mini feeding set. So we have the mini spoon, the mini fork, and the mini mat all in this great, adorable packaging, making it really easy for you to have gift sets. Put this on the registry as well. Next up is our Happy collection. So our tiny collection is geared towards babies, and then our mini collection is geared towards toddlers. Oh, let me tell you about the mini bowl before I move on. The mini bowl is the next step up. So the tiny bowl is for babies and mini bowls are for toddlers. So let me show you the difference here size-wise. So we go from 5 ounces to 8 ounces, so you can see the difference. And we want toddlers to be able to feed themselves with a bowl or a plate and being able to transition that out. And if you use the mini mat with infants as well, it's really easy for them to go to bowl to plate. It's important for them to be able to learn how to successfully eat from either a bowl or a plate. Come on, voice, keep going. So there's the difference between some of the sizes for our bowls. Then now we're moving on to the Happy Bowl, which is for our preschoolers. So we have infants to toddlers to preschoolers. And so this is our Happy Bowl. This is 12 ounces. So again, to show you the different sizes between the mini for toddlers and the larger ounce bowl for preschoolers. So that's really nice. And again, all of our bowls and plates suction to the table. And then we have our flagship product, which is the ezpz mini mat. And this is really great too, because if you have a picky eater, we want them to be able to, again, have that same success that they did when they were a little bit younger, and now they're at this toddler preschool age and they have more ounces at mealtime. With the mini mat, we have 2 ounces, 2 ounces, and 4 ounces, which is the portion sizes for the products. And That's great for infants to toddler tummies. But once we get to older toddlers and to preschoolers, they need to have more ounces at mealtime. So it's 4 ounces, 4 ounces, and 10 ounces. And this is a wonderful product to be able to make food fun and make it, someone who's maybe hesitant to come to meals to really want to be able to enjoy mealtime. For picky eaters, some of the strategies that I really like to do is putting the utensils here on the side, but all of our products are dishwasher safe, microwave safe, oven safe, and freezer safe, so you can have that for later, but they're also dry erase marker safe. So this is really fun to be able to, if you're trying to keep your kiddo at the mealtime a little bit longer, you can use a dry erase marker to write here on the side. So with upcoming Valentine's Day, we can write I love you or Happy Valentine's Day on their meals, making it a little bit more fun. Throw it in the dishwasher and it comes right off. Our companion to the Happy Mat is our ezpz book. And what's so great about this is that it's going to give you tips and ideas for picky eaters. And I always get a lot of questions as a feeding therapist when babies are transitioning into toddlerhood about how many ounces they're supposed to be having, what foods they should be having. And all of that information is here inside of the book. So it's telling you how many ounces and tablespoons and how much protein your child's supposed to have. Everything is in the book. And then also some really fun inspiration. So here is how you can use a Happy Mat to make really, really quick food art. I love that friends always tell me, Dawn, I'm not a bento box mom, but I can easily do food art because this is like a canvas already. Whether you're using the mini mat or the Happy Mat, it makes it really easy to make food fun because the smile is already in place. So here's a couple of ideas here. And then it gives you some language information of what you're supposed to say or not say at mealtime, and be able to have the right language when you're working with your kids about new foods. And then on the back, all the tools and tips that I use that you can easily get at the 99-cent store to be able to make some of these fun food crafts here. And that is some of our Happy line. We have more products out on that line coming this year, so stay tuned for that. And we also have character mats. Now, these are huge, and we have a licensing agreement just for a few more months. So if you've been eyeing these, you definitely want to purchase them. So here is the license agreement with Sesame Street. This is our Elmo mat. How cute is that? And our Cookie Monster mat. And they too suction to the table. So if you're thinking about these, add those to your registry really quick. And then we also have the Peppa Pig mat. Look how cute that is. I love these. So if you have a Peppa Pig fan in your life, you definitely want to snag this before we don't offer them anymore. So adorable. And then if you are working with your baby, excuse me, bear with me with my voice. You're going to be trying new tastes, new textures. You're going to be exploring things. You're going to be doing a lot of sensory play. And you can do that with your baby, but you also can do that with your toddler. When toddlers start going through that picky eating phase, that is very natural, but it's only supposed to last a few weeks. It's called food neophobia, and they're only supposed to be really fearful of foods for a few weeks, maybe a few months. But if it's extended past that point, you can either reach out to a feeding therapist, or you can actually start to do some sensory food play with your toddler. One of the best ways to be able to do that with babies and toddlers is our product called the Play Mat. So what this is, it holds an 8x11 piece of paper. So on this side, it can hold a piece of paper. So you can do painting. So you can fill this up with water and then all the different paint colors here, put an 8x11 piece of paper and be able to let your child paint and keep all the mess contained all in one space. This is the this is the Play Mat in lemon color, but we also have it in mint, which is like a green, it's a beautiful green. So it's really fun to be able to keep everything contained. If we're working on that sensory play, we can easily put some purees here on the side, let your baby play with them, or maybe try different colors of purees and be able to play with them. Let them experience those textures, smells, and flavors and colors, and really have fun exploring food in a very playful way before we actually bring it onto their plates and their bowls and trying to expect them to be able to eat. This is a wonderful product to be able to help kids make that a little bit easier. And with Valentine's Day and Easter coming up, this is a wonderful place for crafting and beading and Legos and paints and even Easter dye. And then we have a mini version of that. Now, what's great is that you can use both of these products for crafts, but you also can use it to offer new foods. So with picky eaters, being able to see that food over and over, eventually they're going to feel a little bit more comfortable with trying it for the first time. So you can put yogurt and a whole bunch of different fruits. You can put 3 fruits that they are familiar with and that they actually like, and then 2 fruits here that might be new. But if they have that dipping experience and making that a little bit more fun for them, picky eaters tend to try some new foods. You can also do that with veggies. So you can put ranch or hummus in the middle here, have some different veggies. Again, have at least 3 veggies that they actually like, and maybe offer 2 more that they haven't tried before to really work on that dipping. Now, dipping, as you know, with the baby is a really important skill, but actually holding on to that pincer grip with foods for dipping is also really important. So this is a wonderful way to be able to work on those dipping skills, work on that pincer grasp. You can actually fill this up with crafting too. So think of like those little pom-poms. And so you can take those pom-poms and have them match the different colors, working on that pincer grasp as well. It's a wonderful, fun tool. So, we just went through a very quick lineup of all of our products. Please type in the comment section yes if you learned something new about feeding your baby or your toddler. And if you want more feeding tips, please follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is at ezpz. And my Instagram handle is at Miss Dawn SLP, so you can get more feeding tips there. I'm actually going to see if I can click on the comments because I'm not seeing the comments. So let me see if I can click this to be able to see. There we go. So I can see your comments too. So you can ask me questions in the comments, and I'm going to be able to open this up to the Q&A, and I've got about 15 minutes or so to be able to answer those questions. And make sure that you stay to the end because we're doing a giveaway of the mini cup and straw training system and another giveaway of another first food set. So if you want to purchase those products off of our website, you can use the code PREGO20 for 20% off, or you can add them to the cart. So let's see if I have some questions here that I can answer. Maria's saying so many new things. I learned so much. I'm so glad. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Mrs. Davis said, my 12-month-old still struggles with open cups, and that's okay. So here's the thing too, that developmental milestone is that as long as your 12-month-old is actually drinking from an open cup independently and they're holding it, that's all right. Because again, we want them to be able to continue to move on that continuum. At 12 months, they're bringing that to the cup to their mouth. You can actually help and hold. You can help them be able to lift that up, or you can just put a small amount into the cup to make it not so heavy. The cups, our tiny cup and our mini cup is weighted on the bottom to help children feel that cup in space. It really helps with their sensory perception. So maybe the cup might be too light. So you can kind of switch out with the different weights of it to make that a little bit easier. And at the bottom of the cups too, we have sensory bumps. So that makes it even easier for their grip. So they're usually holding that with 2 hands, and some of their fingers are underneath the cup, making that really easy to be able to lift the cup. So give that a try, Miss Davis, and see if your 12-month-old can do a little bit easier with that. Yes, Megan Bulling's asking, are all these milestones available on your website? Yes, they're on our website as well as in our social media. And we talk about them often because it's really important for parents to know these, and a lot of families don't understand these feeding milestones. So we feel really passionate about making sure that not only we are developing products that help with those feeding milestones, but also letting you know what they are. So yes, you can go to ezpz fun, as well as at Miss Donna SLP. Oh, now I can type in there. Okay. Miss Donna SLP on social, and at ezpz fun on social. And we constantly are putting up those milestones. And we actually have mealtime milestone sheets on our website as well. So then we have another, excuse me, question here. What do I put into the cup? So with babies, you put breast milk or formula into the tiny cup to be able to help with those drinking milestones. For two reasons, we want to be able to do that over water. One is that if you're breastfeeding, your baby knows that smell. And so putting the breast milk into the cup is going to make it really easy for them to be able to want to drink that because they're so familiar with the taste and smell of breast milk. Now, just because we're adding breast milk to the cup does not mean that you have to stop breastfeeding. We're just being able to trigger that feeding milestone, making it easier for your baby to be able to start solids. So still continue breastfeeding as long as you and your baby want. Just add some of that breast milk or formula to the open cup. Again, 5 minutes a day, starting at 6 months of age, will help you make that 12-month-old milestone of being able to drink from the open cup independently. Now, we don't want to give babies juice at this time, and we don't want to give young babies water. It can cause a whole bunch of medical issues if we start water early. So I usually start water around 10 months of age. So for 6 to 10 months, you're doing breast milk or formula. Around 10 months, you can start adding water. We don't give babies juice, and we give toddlers juice really watered down with water. At the 12-month mark, then when you're moving on to the mini cup, then you can transition to whatever milk source that you want. Most families go to cow milk, but there's also other milks out there like pea milk, soy milk, etc., that still have some protein and are great milk sources to be able to move on for. You can still also breastfeed as well, but we really want to have that complementary milk in there, and you can do that with the cups. So yes, with the tiny spoon, so the question is, how do you help with the tiny spoon? With the tiny spoon, there's the handle here to be able to help support that fine motor development. Because when you use long-handled spoons and you give that long-handled spoon to the baby, it's so long, they're making it difficult for them to be able to bring that spoon up to their mouth and making it really hard for them to have that hand-to-mouth coordination. The closer your baby has with their whole grip to their mouth is easier and better for them to be successful. Now, if we want our babies and our toddlers to be able to use utensils, we need to just be able to start doing that early. Now, when you first start at 6 months of age, they may have a couple of bites and may want to grab onto those spears of foods and put the foods into their mouth too, and that's fine. We just want them to be able to be accustomed to having spoons at the table. We want it to be something that they can actually bring to their mouth, and of course, we want it to be safe for them to make that easier for them to have that transition. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, so the transition between the tiny spoon and the mini spoon, how to transition, is around 12 months of age. So generally speaking, we want your baby to actually make that 9-month-old milestone of dipping before you move on to the toddler utensils. Now, I see 6-month-olds making those milestones. These milestones are a range that we as feeding experts are, from a medical standpoint, engaging with you guys to make sure that your baby's actually going through these ages and stages that are really important. But also, every baby is different. So sometimes I say, oh, with the tiny spoon, we're not expecting scooping until 12 months. And then I'll see like 6-month-olds using the product and just scooping away. They're 6 months early with that milestone, which is fantastic. But maybe they're a few months behind on being able to drink from the open cup, right? The ranges. But around 12 months of age, we see that transition. Once your baby is able to bring the spoon and dip and bring that to their mouth, and they're ready to go to that transition of going to that bigger spoon, going to that fork at that time. Alexandria says, third time mom and still learning so much. Yay, that makes me so happy. Thank you. Oh, I'm loving all your guys' questions. Thank you so much. Yes. So let me go over the colors again. So we have sage, pewter, blush. Those are our Nordic colors. And then we also have our core colors, which is blue, coral, lime, and gray. A lot of families that I work with pick colors that either match their kitchen, and some try to pick what's going to match with their dining room, wherever you're going to be feeding baby, and others want to coordinate the colors with their nursery. Another question from Chelsea. Can you mix and match colors for the spoon? Yes, you can. You can actually, but you buy 2 different packets of that. So it comes in a pack of 2, and then you can kind of mix and coordinate. You may see that on our social media a lot. We like to kind of mix and match, but you'll need to get 2 packages because they only come in the color packs the same color. And that's for 2 reasons. One is sometimes babies have difficulties moving to different colors, and that's why it's kind of fun to be able to switch up those colors. So it's important to be able to do that if you can or if you want to. Or some babies won't pick up another colored spoon because they're a little bit nervous about that. And why babies tend to do that is because of motor planning challenges. So what's really important to know is that they are learning how to be able to do all of these new skills very young. And so what happens is that they tend to not trust another type of utensil because of the fact that they're knowing that if I get this utensil, I'm bringing that up to my mouth really easily, which is why those types of tendencies can lead to some picky eating too. So we kind of want to keep being able to bring mealtime colors into play, so not get stuck on just like white cereal. We want to be able to shove those colors of watermelon and cucumber and blueberries and really have things bright and vibrant so kids can be able to step out of their box from a sensory standpoint and be able to transition and eat a whole bunch of different types of foods. Okay, I'm going to scroll back some to get some more questions as well. You guys are just doing great with this. Yes, the 360 cups. Yes, I didn't mention that. So yes, 360 cups are actually similar to a sippy cup. So when toddlers drink from the rim of a 360 cup, basically they have to bite down and overextend their jaw. And what happens with that is that can cause speech issues and oral motor issues and changes in the jaw, which is what we don't want. Kids that use a sippy cup or a 360 cup tend to have more dental issues, have more orthodontic issues. And so we want to stay away from sippy cups and 360 cups. If you've already purchased one of those, you can still utilize that from an open cup standpoint, for example. But it's a really large cup. And again, you have to tilt that back, which opens up the airway, making it difficult for children to be safe with drinking. But yeah, using any type of 360 lid really extends the mouth to do some kind of movement that we're not used to. None of us kind of push out our jaw and use our teeth to be able to drink liquid. So it's really those skills and habits that happen that as a feeding therapist, then I have to unteach those habits to kids to be able to reteach them how to do them successfully in the way that you and I drink and swallow, which is really important. And another thing with these types of cups too, the tongue is actually not going up to the roof of the mouth, which is what we really want our kids to do. babies are transitioning from a suckle pattern to a swallowing pattern, like you and I. So if you, everyone on the call, if you can do this with me, swallow your saliva. Feel that your tongue goes up to the roof of your mouth. That's what we call a mature swallow. And when we're using a sippy cup type, then what's happening is that tongue is going in and out. Or in the case with a 360 cup, it may be going underneath the lid. And we don't want that to happen. We want the tongue to actually go up to the roof of the mouth in order to not only maintain their airway, but actually to have that really mature swallow pattern, so that when you're starting solids, that tongue is getting active and being able to start moving up and down so that they can move laterally. A lot of kids, infants to toddlers, will pocket food into the mouth. And usually when they're pocketing food in the mouth, it's because of an overuse too of sippy cups, having that tongue coming in and out and not having that tongue being able to learn to lateralize, to get that food out of those cheeks and being able to really move the tongue. The tongue is a muscle, and so we have to be able to help that muscle with really safe products, teaching that muscle what it's supposed to be doing. Awesome. I never knew this about sippy cups. Such great information, April says. Thank you so much. I so appreciate that. And so I'll keep answering questions, but I want to be able to get to our giveaway too. So I only have a few minutes left. So Tamara, our COO, is in the comments as well. And so we are giving away a mini cup and straw training system. So Tams, if you want to pick that winner. And then we're also giving away the first food set. So with the mini cup and straw training system, this is what the packaging looks like. So all of the things that I just told you about the mini cup and straw training system is all on the back here. How you start with the open cup, start with the training system, training straw, and then move on to the advanced straw. And then all the features that I just talked about with you are on the back too. So don't throw away the packaging. Read everything on here when you get that too. And it's a beautiful package, a wonderful gift set. And these have been flying off of the shelves. So you definitely want to add this to your registry or get this off of our website because they fly, fly, fly. We launched them in October, actually here at the Prego Expo, and we haven't been able to keep them in stock since. So, so that is one of the things that we're giving away. And then, of course, the other one is the first food set. So here is another look at that. Brianna says, love that you have a book to accompany your products. Thank you so much. Yes, our book is amazing because it gives you a whole bunch of different tips. And here's the cover of it with all the different faces that we've made. And then at the back, all of the food after kids have eaten out of it. So it's really fun. It gives you some really good inspiration when you're kind of feeling like you just don't know what to do. If you're struggling with a picky eater, this book is really going to help you give some inspiration. I took all this really hard feeding research that speech pathologists and occupational therapists who specialize in feeding do all this research, and I try to bring it down into like one sentence bites for parents to be able to understand why it's important to do certain things with food. So I'm so glad that you like that. Sarah says, I need to add these products to my registry. Yes, they're developmentally appropriate. They're going to really help keep your child in line with feeding and also with speech. As a speech pathologist, these products are really important because speech develops after feeding. So we always say feeding milestones precede speech milestones. If a child is able to get those really good feeding skills, being able to drink from an open cup, getting that tongue back into their mouth, being able to work on lip closure onto a spoon and onto an open cup, then their speech tends to come in correctly. We want those sounds for early speech to be able to be clear, and we want your children to be able to have really successful speech and language. So it all starts with feeding. The same lips and throats and muscles that we use for feeding are the same ones that we use for speech. Does a book come with any of the sets? On our website, we have a gift set that is the Happy Mat and the book. So it comes together. So I'll show you that again. Excuse me. So, and then you can pick the color of the Happy Mat to be able to match with the book. And our website is ezpzfun.com. So ezpzfun.com. And has Tams posted our winners? I don't see that in here yet. And if they haven't posted, then I will come back in and post as well. And Maria says, I need the book for my stepdaughter. She's such a picky eater and she's 3. And that is a perfect time. 3 is this really great age to be able to tackle picky eating because we don't want it to extend into the preschool years. So the book is a wonderful place for those feeding tips. Being able to use our products are great. So the Happy Mat and Happy Bowl would be the sizes for your older toddler going into preschool. So you can feel free to grab those. And then and they're great gifts for Valentine's Day and Easter coming up, and to be able to help. And then you can also get feeding tips from our website. So I write the blog for ezpz, and you can go in there and you can type in the search bar anything like picky eater, and all the blogs that I've written on picky eating will come up to be able to support you. And again, we're on social media, on Instagram, giving you tons of tips for that too. So let me put that in here. So Easy Peasy Fun on Instagram, and I am Miss Dawn. Okay. In addition to tips, I also have a Facebook group, a private Facebook group, to be able to help parents going on their journey. So I'll put that in here too. It's go.missdawn slp.com/private LW group. So you can go to request access into my Facebook group where I can help you guys even further with that. I'm also speaking tomorrow on signs of readiness. So on starting solids, if you need some more helpful tips on starting solids. All right. Any last questions before we go? We have 2 more minutes. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I'm glad my voice made it all the way through. Yes, yes. Great. Tamara said she announced the winners. So the winners are there. So one winner picked the mini cup and straw training set, and another winner picked the feeding set for babies, which is called the First Food Set. And the other gift option was the mini feeding set for toddlers. So there's a couple different ones out there for you. You can add some of this to your registry, or of course go to our website and use that code PREGO20 for 20% off of our website. Oh, you're so welcome, Chelsea. Thank you. Any last questions before I go? And all this information is actually going to be at our booth too. So feel free to come to our booth, ask us questions, and we can answer that as well. Oh, thank you, Catherine. I'm so glad that you love all the colors. The Sonoma collection is our Sienna and Indigo, which is our new colors. So these are really hot right now and really trendy. And then, of course, our core colors and our Nordic colors. So you have a variety of colors to be able to choose from. The winners are listed right in the comment section. So the first winner is Keisha and Faso and Yolanda Christopherson. So congratulations, you guys. I hope that you really enjoy the products. Thank you so much for your attention. And thank you so much, Samantha and Juliana, for having me. Bye-bye.